The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line, and run as long as possible. Your test is over. Remember to run in a straight line. Your test is over. And run as long as possible. The test
All right,
will
there she
begin
is.
on
I'm
the
here
word
with
start.
Cait Davis, also known as
test will
Phys Ed
begin
Girls
on
on
the word
Instagram and I think TikTok as well, all over social media. How was your day today? Because you taught today, I'm assuming.
I
You taught
sure
a whole day.
did. Yes, it was great. We're doing the Marathon Kids running program, so this is our first week of the year doing that, and this year we're doing it quarterly, so it's just fun. The kids loved it last year, so they were excited to jump into it earlier this year.
And for anybody who doesn't already know, now they know you teach elementary,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Because those are the only kids who get excited about running.
Exactly. Yep.
Have you ever taught secondary, or could you imagine, like, have you ever taught marathon kids to high school students? I can't imagine that would go.
I'd have a
Great.
handful that would like it, but yeah, most of them
A
don't want to
handful.
get sweaty, so.
Yeah, those little ones, they just love to run.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
hey, we're gonna play the running game, and then hey, we're off running. I don't want to spend this whole episode talking about bodily fluids because I already did that in a previous episode. And I'm sorry to spring this on you. I just have to talk about it. I had poop on my floor for the first time today. And
First time.
have you ever had poop on your floor? Go ahead. Have you ever had poop on
We
your
have
floor?
actually. My
course.
first year, I experienced that.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course. So I want to hear that story. I want to tell mine first, okay? Because it was pretty bad. I broke a cardinal rule that I have, and for anyone listening who is a first-year teacher or second or third, if you're not tenured, listen, okay? Put down whatever else you're doing. Listen hard. This is a rule that I live by. When kindergartners ask to use the bathroom, you say yes. You say yes every time, even if it's the most inconvenient time and you're in the middle of giving instructions, you have to say yes because they can't hold it.
They can't.
They can't hold it. I was not always good at following that rule. I started my career in inner city Chicago, and it was a very tough school. The principal had a hard rule that, like, you can't let these kids in the hallway by themselves. So if they ask to go to the bathroom, you have to say no. And I still have a little bit of that in me. So, like, when kids ask to go to the bathroom, so I don't always say yes. I don't always say yes, but kindergarten, always say yes. So last week, there's this little kindergartner, real little guy, very timid, very quiet, asked to go to the bathroom. I say yes. And then I forget about him. I didn't realize that he never came back. Okay? So after class, after they leave, I'm on my lunch break. I go in there to wash my hands. This little guy's sitting on the floor, just chilling on the bathroom floor. He's not crying or anything. He's literally just sitting, staring at the toilets, crisscross applesauce. I don't know what he's thinking about, what he's doing. So I'm like, what are you doing in here? He kind of scared me. I'm like, why are you still sitting on? He couldn't tell me. He couldn't get, like, the words out. He just kind of looked at me, didn't start crying, wasn't scared, just kind of, like, blankly stared at me. So I bring him to his teacher. Again, she tries to ask him, why were you sitting on the floor? He couldn't give her an answer. She's like, well, maybe he couldn't open the door because he's pretty small. I'm like, well, he got in there okay, so clearly that's not the issue. Okay, so fast forward 2 days later, this class comes in the gym. Kid right away asks me, wants to go to the bathroom again. I'm like, no, because you were sitting on the floor last time. You need to participate in class, and I almost lost you that time. I forgot you were in there. You can't, no. Okay? So that was like 2 days ago. So today, his class is in the gym. I look over at him, and I see a big old clump on the floor. And right away, I knew right away. I walk over there, sure enough, as I approach him, the smell hits me in the face like a brick wall. I look at him, I'm like, why didn't you ask to go to the bathroom? He didn't answer me, but in my head, I knew why, because he thought I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my rule, and he got me, and now I'm bracing myself for that angry message from Mom.
Yep.
It's gonna be, because it's always our fault. It's always the one time we say no. that they have an accident.
Yep.
So, moral of that story, everybody, is when the kindergartners have to go, let them go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That story was way too long. What's your reaction to that? And tell me your poop story.
Well,
we got to start with
I
this.
don't really have a poop story, but I do have, depending what the lunch is, like sometimes our school will give hot dogs and beans, and we have we have a lot of gas, on those afternoons with the kids. One time we were doing gymnastics and they were doing the forward roll and we're assisting, so it's literally like right past your face, and like I still remember one time it was during a demo, so it was dead quiet in the gym, and we're like, okay, you have to tuck your neck when you roll. And as the student went over, they just let it rip. And as a teacher, like you have to keep you can't laugh because you don't know if they're going to think it's funny. But luckily, the student was, a jokester and cracked up and was like, sorry.
Okay, that's what you want.
They played it off really well. But that's also on us as PE teachers. Like you want to make kids feel comfortable, that even if something happens, they're going to be fine with it and roll with it. But I had to turn around. My face was beet red. I was like trying to hold the laugh in, but it turned out fine. I didn't get any phone calls for that one, but it was pretty fun.
That's spotting kids while they're doing a forward roll. You're like on your knees. You're right next to them.
Oh, yeah.
And then they fart in your face. That's sounds like a really good way to get pink eye.
It for sure.
And these are hazards of the job that they don't tell you about in college.
They really don't. They don't. But we also have the class that like, we have accidents, the younger ones, we do have like quite a few accidents the beginning of the year. We have pre-K in our school. I don't know, what.
Yeah, we have pre-K, but I don't have to teach them. I'm not certified. Not doing it.
Gotcha. No. Yeah. So,
not doing that.
So we do have some accidents, but whenever I ask them, like, why didn't you ask to go to the bathroom? You can always let me know. They're like, I was having so much fun. And I'm like, I don't think in any other class a kid would be like, I'm not going to the bathroom, I'm having fun. So I take it as a compliment, but our poor custodial staff.
Yeah. Another tip for new teachers, make good friends with your custodian staff because you're going to need them to clean up those messes. My custodians are so cool. They actually just leave the closet unlocked in the gym. So like I can go in there and help myself to the mop. If I have, we haven't had any accidents. Today was the first day. Normally, like if a kid pees on the floor, I'll just help myself to the mop. I'll clean it up because I don't want to wait. Poop though, I don't touch poop. I waited for. I wait for.
It's not your own kid.
If it's solid, I don't touch it. If it's solid, I don't touch it.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's probably enough poo and fart jokes. I want to hear about you. I would love to. I ask this question to everybody I interview. I'm always curious, and so far, the record has been nobody actually intended to be a PE teacher when they went to college. So I want to know, how did you become a PE teacher? Did you always want to be a PE teacher?
No.
Or did it just kind of happen?
No. So it's kind of two stories into one, but so I was supposed to go to a college in New York called SUNY Oswego for psychology, and literally a week before college, like a week before I was supposed to leave, I had everything packed. At last minute, I was just like, you know what? I just can't go. My mom actually passed away when I was 14. So I just felt I didn't want to really leave my dad and my brother at that point. So I was just like, I'm just going to stay local. I'll go to community college for like a year, just give it one more year and see that they're okay. But it was honestly the best thing I ever did. So my best friend growing up, she was going to the community college for phys ed. So I was like, I'll just go with her because she's my best friend. I'll just take that major because literally everything was filled up pretty much. And I was like, I love PE. So, I'll get some exercise. I'll get prerequisites out of the way. And then I wound up loving it. And she wound up not doing it because she hates like social, like speaking in front of people, public speaking. So she was like, I can't do it. So she became a nurse.
That's an important part of the job.
I know. She became a nurse. And it's funny because she's actually the school nurse in my building. And I'm the PE teacher now. So we kind of like
really
switch
funny.
roles. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but there are people who do, in fact, want to be PE teachers and go to college to be, but then they don't. They end up turning into school nurses.
Yeah, I guess so. So they get hurt in my class, and I send her to her. No.
Okay.
And then
you teach in New York, right?
Yeah, and then the other piece of that, my PE teacher, Doug Lampman. He's one of the best people I've ever met in my whole life. But he was my PE teacher from fourth grade. And when my elementary in fifth grade moved to middle school, he moved up that year to the middle school. And then when I moved up from eighth grade to high school, he moved up to the high school that year. It all just kind of worked out. So I had him from fourth grade through senior year. Every year, even though there were two PE teachers, I was always on his schedule. So I would call him Dad as a joke because I saw him more than, my own family. And he's still teaching in my school district now. I'm in my home district, but
Still teaching. Wow.
when I was like, is this something I actually really want to do after doing it for that first semester? I was like, you know what? He is one of the happiest, most down to earth people I've ever met. And, he helped me through so much without even knowing it, with like losing my mom when I was younger, and just, gave me the confidence to be like, I could do anything I want. And I was like, I want to do that for kids too. Like, everyone has something they're going through, and just to be, a sturdy person in their life. Like, we also do a lot of like psychology, and, that was the purpose
Definitely.
that I wanted to go to school for, because I wanted to help people. And I was like, why not help, younger people? First of all, they're more fun and they're so innocent. And, if you can build that in kids, they'll carry it with them through adulthood. So it was the right choice.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That word confidence is, I feel like that's one of the most important things that we can do as PE teachers is, help kids build confidence. Like, we're not gonna turn them all into professional athletes. We're not even really, a lot of us, only see our students once or twice a week. So we're really not even able to make a huge impact on their fitness levels. Like, we're not going to help them like get in shape necessarily, but we can help them build confidence. What was it? You said that he was like your favorite PE teacher that helped you build confidence. What was it about his class? What were some memories you have that really made an impact on you?
Oh, there's so much, but honestly, and even like teaching now, like I'll visit, he's in the high school, and I've watched him coach throughout the years. He's given me so many pointers when I started coaching right out of college. But he just finds those kids that you wouldn't necessarily think to be like a gym class hero, right? But he makes them shine more than like the best athlete in class. Like, he'll be like, everybody, so-and-so's here today, and all the kids will cheer, because he makes it seem more like a club you were invited to,
Yeah.
The kids wanted to skip study halls and stuff all the time to be in his classes, just to be around him. I mean, I know I did, all my friends did, but he just, no matter who he was talking to, they felt like they were the most important person to him in that moment. So that's what I try to do.
So he didn't just zero in on the athletes.
Not at all.
We hear a lot, like, I don't know if you get these comments on social media, but I hear from a lot of people who are like, I hated PE as a kid because my PE teacher, was the football coach or the wrestling coach or whatever, and all they cared about were the athletes, the boys on their team, and they didn't care about the rest of us.
Yep.
So I think, that is huge. That is important. What do you think what's like your favorite way to kind of reach out to those students who aren't necessarily the most athletic, the gym class heroes, as you say?
I mean, just being able to relate to them in any way. So like simple like I play music every single day, and I start with like silly songs and things like that. But when you catch these kids, we have them from pre-K on. So you build that relationship with them when they're younger. And I'm like, you like dinosaurs? And, I'll bring in dinosaur action figures, and we dribble soccer balls around them. And they're like this, they think that was done for them, because I'm like, oh, you have a Jurassic Park shirt on. We're going to use dinosaurs next week. Like, maybe you can help me. But, sometimes we'll have kids that move in at an older age, and I can't imagine that. I grew up in the same town forever, but trying to fit into a new school where it's a small community where I am. And like, when I see new kids come here, I really try to make them feel so important in PE. And I'll go up to kids who I know and trust and be like, hey, I'm going to put so-and-so on your team. Can you like make sure that they're fitting in or whatever? And like, I don't know, what other teacher knows someone from pre-K on that exactly who you can trust to do those type of things for you.
But what I was thinking about, like, because you said, we get to see these kids pre-K through a lot of times, like 5th grade, 8th grade, in the case of your old PE teacher, like all the way through high school. We really do have a unique perspective on those kids that we can trust, but we also know the kids that we can't trust. I always think it's funny. I always think it's funny when classroom teachers complain about, like, when they get their rosters in the beginning of the year, they'll recognize siblings and they'll be like, "Oh, I finally got rid of Jason and now I have his little brother Jaden. Great. I got to deal with him for a whole nother year." And I'm over here as the PE teacher, like, I have to deal with both of them every single year. And if you think Jaden and Jason are bad, wait till you meet little Jocelyn in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, those are like the students, I feel like as a PE teacher, the students that have the most energy, and teachers, sometimes you can kind of see frustration, occasionally where they're just like, run, they always say like, run them today or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's not all we're here for, is to get their energy out, but right. I feel like those are my favorite students because, of course, sometimes they're a little handsy and things like that. Like, they just don't have self-control yet. But like what we do, we have the perfect opportunity to try to teach them that, or to say, like, when they get in class, I'm like, the first thing I'm going to do when I see them is be like, hey, I'm watching you today. I really want to see you controlling your body, or like, give them a job or something like that, where you can take a student that's like that and make them feel like that's their important place. Because sometimes I'll get not upset, but if a teacher's like, oh, like, they already have made up their mind about a kid that they've had for like a week, and you're like, they actually do have a really good side. You just need to find it. They have to trust you. So for me, that's like huge. I try to pull that out of them. We had a student that's finished in elementary now, but he drove all the teachers nuts. He was just so smart. He knew exactly what to say to get under their skin, things like that. But he would like disappear sometimes, and they'd be like, where is he? And he'd be in our office just like popping in to say hi. And like, when I look back at that, I'm like, wow, we were like the only teachers that he felt connected to at all.
Yeah, you were his safe space. Yeah.
So we were like, well, let's let him earn lunch with us on Fridays if he doesn't disappear from his class, and he actually did it because he felt valued. And I think that's important for every kid, to at least have one person that they know feels like they matter, and like they're not just going to be there to argue with them or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we see a completely different side to these students, and it is always interesting to me to hear about like which kids are a quote unquote problem in the classroom, because I'll be like, they don't give me any trouble in the gym. Like, I had no idea this kid was having trouble in, reading or math, because I see a completely different side to them, and they really kind of shine in the gym. And that's why I think it's a shame that, and I don't want to judge, I don't want to preemptively like judge your district. I don't know how it is there, but at least in my district, in a lot of districts, I think probably most, that phys ed is kind of relegated to just this like once or twice a week babysitting time, where we're just kind of supervising the kids while the teachers are on prep, when there is a lot of value there to kind of reach out to those kids. It's a shame that we're not more like integrated into the core curriculum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or class sizes are huge. It's like, how do you expect us to connect when we have 75 kids for 42 minutes? Like, I can't even remember who was there. Something like, and they're like, well, how'd so-and-so do? I'm like, I don't remember if they were there. Like, you try your best.
You're like, who?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know.
That's a student?
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for phys ed girls? So I want to talk about your social media page. Like, how long has it been going? What was your inspiration to start it? Why phys ed girls, not, phys ed people? Go ahead. Sound off.
So actually, I think about that all the time, about like changing it, but I'm like, you know what? It's working, so I'm going to keep it how it is.
I like it. I was being sarcastic.
No, I really do though, because honestly, like, a lot of followers are guys too, and it's not all girl stuff, but it really started because before I was in the district I am now, I've worked in like 4 different schools. So just trying to like make my way closer to home. And I was in a charter school for 2 years, so I wanted to be in public school. But everywhere I went, I was the only PE teacher. And I'm like, man, like, I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of. I'd scarf my lunch because I'd be starving. So I would just eat in my office real quick, eat my lunch, and then, try to catch up on things. Because I mean, we don't really have that much prep time and things like that. So
Right.
I would always be busy doing that. And I just kind of felt like I was in my own little world, you know. I always loved what I did, but I was like, it'd be nice if I had a friend, an adult to talk to during the day. Like I'd get home from teaching elementary. I only had K through 3 in one school. And, you know, when you're talking to kids all day, I'd get home and be like, talking to my husband. I'd be like, so what'd you do today? Blah, blah. And he'd be like, relax, you know? And I'm like, sorry, I haven't talked to any grown-ups all day. So like, it's so nice now having, you know, 2 coworkers, that like we talk all day. We're like family. We're like best friends. And I'm so fortunate that I have great coworkers, because I know some people don't have that. And that's probably like torture, having to work with someone all day that you don't get along with, or you have different ideas. But that's another reason why I started Phys Ed Girls. So it started off as I just posted on my regular like Instagram account. It wasn't like a PE page yet, but I started posting like a few activities I was doing, and they like blew up out of nowhere. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, how did like 700 people see this in like 5 seconds? So I was like, let me start like a PE one, because I'm like I love being organized. Like you mentioned nerding out, and we'll get into that later, but I love organization. Like I just love it. It's probably a weird like hobby type thing, but
not at all.
So I was like, I
wish I was good at that.
Yeah, I was like, I want all my phys ed stuff like in one place. So I started a PE Instagram, and then it just, you know, once you start getting views and all that, you start getting more people pushed to you and whatnot. And like, I just started meeting really cool people through social media. And I named it Phys Ed Girls because most of the DMs and everything I was getting were like, oh, what sweatshirt is that? Or, you know, do you have a link for those sneakers or whatever? So I was like, dudes aren't going to be asking me for links on like my sweatshirt or my sneakers or how I did my braid, you know? So that's where it kind of went in the girl direction. But the more that I post and the more I do, it's really for everyone.
Right.
Just, I feel like I DM girls all the time. And it's cool. It's like almost like I have best friends that I've never met in person, but I DM with people constantly. Usually when I'm like trying to get my girls to fall asleep, my daughters, I'm like on there because they don't want me to leave their room all of a sudden until they're totally knocked out.
They
so
hold
I'll
you
just
prisoner
be like
in there.
over this way while they're falling asleep after we read their books. But it's just awesome. I've learned so much. I've grown. Like I'll be honest, like I thought I was pretty good at being a PE teacher, but I have grown tremendously from just putting myself out there and meeting new people. It's just incredible, really. I love it. I love doing it. I wish there was more time in the day, because I have like a camera roll that's just insane, but I don't really have a lot of time between teaching all day, having a family. You know, this summer I got to do a lot because it was my first summer. I didn't teach summer school, but, smart
choice.
For the first time, it was amazing. I also had surgery on my nose, so that wasn't fun. But
how is your nose? I remember seeing those pictures
so
of you all
straight
bandaged
now.
up.
It's like crazy straight.
Oh, so it was a straightening procedure. I didn't know. I didn't want to ask.
Honestly, I didn't
since you brought it up.
I didn't know if it would actually be straight. I have terrible allergies. I get allergy shots every week, which I don't know if that's like a PE thing, but we have like dust in our gym. And so in the winter, I'm breathing in a lot of dust I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to like every grass and tree out there. So in the summer when I'm outside, so I always have like congestion. But so I was getting a lot of sinus infections and stuff. And then I found I had a deviated septum from breaking my nose when I was younger. So I couldn't breathe through the left side at all. So now I can breathe, and it straightened it out too. So I was like, I'll take it. It's a win. It wasn't fun. That's good. It wasn't fun like the first 3 days. I had to like take gauze on my face and honestly, it felt weird. My husband would laugh at me, but I had to like cover my face because my nose felt so cold from breathing. Like, because I wasn't having like air. Then I was like, is this what air feels like?
Like, what is this sensation? Oxygen? What is that?
Yep.
That's weird. Close that up again. It's weird.
For a minute, I was like, I can't deal with this air. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So you chose Phys Ed Girls because it sounds like you kind of just recognized your audience, your niche.
Yeah.
Because based on the people who were DMing you.
Yep.
And you mentioned like the viral videos, and that is too, like I've experienced that too, where like going into my page, I felt like I was competent at my job, but the
Yep.
more these videos go viral, you just get all this like you get all this encouragement from people like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
is amazing. It could be the most simple thing in the world, and another teacher I talked to, Tom Gallardi, mentioned this too. He was like, people see me as this guru now. And I don't want to give the impression like that's too much pressure. I'm not
Yeah.
a guru, but it does kind of make you feel like you have this calling to like be
Yeah.
better, like to be the best, be the
Yep.
teacher that they see you as,
Yep.
Have you noticed that in your journey here?
Yeah, and like you said, like I don't like saying I feel like an imposter because I've just put it out there. I'm what I am. But like I went to the state conference in New York for the first time this year, and like my coworker was like, "People are gonna know who you are," and I was like, "No, they're not." And
They
like
do.
three people came up to me and they were like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I
Yeah,
was just like, I'm so awkward. Like if you ever meet me in person, I'm just like, "Hey,
yeah.
oh, whatever."
I'm exactly the same.
So
Yeah.
there, I like took a picture with them, and I'm like, "What's your name?" Like, we're best friends, like. But I don't know. But I feel like people need that. Like, people need to see
Yeah.
that you're just a real person. I mean, even
Hmm.
real famous people. I feel like you're super famous. Like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he wants me to be on his podcast." But you probably
Not
feel the same
famous.
as me, where you're like, "Yeah,
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I am literally just some guy. No, it's true. You do, in some case, you do feel famous, but at the same time, like I remember when I crossed 200,000 Instagram followers, that was like a point that I never thought I would get.
that's
But
crazy."
all I could think about was that's not even close to 1 million.
Yeah,
That's not even. It's just never enough. But it's true about the conferences. Like when I go to the Illinois State Conference, I have to like sit in my car and collect myself and like
prepare.
mentally prepare
Yeah,
because and this year I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna organize a posse. You know how
to
like
follow
famous
you.
people, right? Like how famous people always have. I think I'm just gonna go to my co-teacher and be like, hey, can we walk in together and just kind of get a couple others like, hey, can you walk with me to make it look because it's like you walk in and you just immediately get bombarded with people who hey, I saw you on Instagram, I love your
Yep.
videos, can I get a selfie? And they don't realize that I am literally just some guy.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy. What was your most viral video? Was it a shock when it went viral? Tell me about that one.
I don't know. I've had just a couple. Honestly, the one that comes to my mind, I'm not even in it, which is funny. Um,
Ah,
I don't. Do you know Brandon Herwick at all? So
the name rings a
he's from
bell.
New York, but he does a lot of open phys ed stuff. He's amazing. He went to college at Cortland when I was there. So I knew him prior to that, and he's so inspirational. But we have New York State, Aford has like a ceremony for students that are in elementary school. It's like your fourth or fifth graders, whatever your top grade is. You get to present them with like a PE award, but it's at
Hmm.
a community college, and it's for like hundreds of schools locally. So there's a ton of kids from all different districts. So he did like the opening speech at that, and he had two pool noodles, and he had like it was a whole college indoor like basketball court. All the bleachers are out there, so it's like a lot of people. I don't know how many. Oh, definitely like thousands, probably. I don't know. I'm terrible at math. Don't ask me.
A good turnout.
A
A good
lot of
turnout.
people. So he
Yeah.
had the whole room up and moving, and I was like, "This is such an epic moment. Like, who else besides a PE teacher could get this? Is magic. Like, he has all the parents are dancing in their seats, laughing, having a great time." Within like 30 seconds of him starting to talk, and I'm like, that's PE magic right there. Like, that's the
Hmm.
type of stuff that I want to share. So I took a quick video and I just wrote on it like PE magic. One PE teacher has hundreds of people up out of their seats dancing, all having fun together. And that one took off. That one did really well, and I'm like, people just want to see like happiness. I don't know, like
Yes.
people just want to
Yes.
see joy. Any video you see with people with like a parachute and they're like, who remembers the parachute? That
Yeah.
video goes viral, and it's just a parachute
It's
with like
mhm.
music. But it's those
People
core
are hungry.
memories.
People are hungry for positivity. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is. Anything just because everything else on social media
crazy.
sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Social media it can be such a like depressing place. I think there is a really big market for positivity and
Yeah.
like wholesomeness. I really
Yeah.
think that is, because I get those comments too when I post a video about parachute or scooters or any game. It could be like a catch game. Like people will just be in the comments like, "Oh, that's adorable. Do you guys remember? I wish my
Yeah.
gym class was like this."
Yep.
And it's just, I feel for these people because I know how social media is. I know how toxic it can be. It wasn't always like that, but it is like this. It's just that wholesomeness, that
Yeah.
positivity. And I think that if that's the contribution that we bring to the world, I think that's great. That's my vision for this podcast, is eventually, if I can get the budget together, is to do that, is to like go in a gym, tape interviews in the gym, but then have like an activity segment where like adults and kids, like
Yeah.
families, can come, and we're gonna play, Gaga Ball or something simple but fun.
Yep. You know what my
if I can
dream
get-
would be?
Yeah, go ahead.
My dream would be to get like professional sports teams. Like, I don't care if it's NBA, a swim team, like anyone that's like serious about their craft, and get them to have like an unserious moment playing phys ed games. Like, whether it's like a YouTube channel or a segment on ESPN, and then they talk about like when they were a kid, like someone that was there for them, something inspiring. Like ESPN, like the 30 for 30s, I could cry at some of them because I'm like, oh my gosh, this story. But like, I don't want kids crying, but something that kids could watch and be like, oh, I'm just going to use LeBron because everyone knows who he is. But like, if they saw LeBron having fun playing with a parachute and being like, dude, when I was younger, like this was my jam, or do like a quick exercise thing for like high school students, because they don't have much positivity either. They're all just comparing themselves to each other. And that's like, people need to see that you don't always have to be serious. You don't always have to be like trying to reach a goal. Like, you could be who you are in that time.
And play.
Yeah. But I mean, even pro athletes, like you said, like we're just normal people. Like, they're like rich, unlike for us, but like they were a normal person at one point too, and I don't know. I just feel like they could relate to so many kids as well. But it would be so cool to see like a bunch of professional athletes doing the parachute or playing a game of kickball. Like, imagine how far the ball would go. Like pro soccer players with like a regular ball.
Or scooter polo.
Yes.
Put them on the scooters, have them play polo with the soccer goals.
Yep. Jump rope
we're
ninjas,
not rich.
Jump roping.
But I think we're not rich, but I think we're going to be with this idea.
Right? Yeah.
And I just decided I'm not going to post this episode because we can't share this publicly because someone's going to steal it. Someone's going to steal this idea. No, I'm kidding. I will post this episode.
I would love for someone to steal the idea because it would be so meaningful.
I mean, maybe I'll steal it.
Yeah,
Is that cool? No, no, it's your idea. Listen,
I just want it to happen for our future, for our kids.
People, and you mentioned high school students too. Like, yes, they need to put their phones down and play.
Or if we have to meet them halfway too, like, all the younger kids love those like brain break. What are they? I can't even talk. It's been a long day. Those brain break videos where they go noodle or, DJ Raffi or whatever that they follow along to. And you know a DJ Raffi?
I don't know him personally, but I've been playing his videos all for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, no, I said I love DJ Raffi. Don't know him.
My brother actually.
I should try to get him on the podcast, but
my brother looks like DJ Raffi. It's actually hysterical.
I just wished him a happy Rosh Hashanah because he's Israeli.
Yeah.
On Instagram, I was disappointed that he didn't respond, but
oh man,
I hope he saw it anyway. Whatever,
he was probably
it's fine.
busy.
It's fine.
He was probably busy.
I don't need a response from everybody.
Yeah. But, like the kids do the brain breaks and they love it. That's all they want to do. Like, I have my daughters do that when they have too much energy. I'm like, let me put something on while I'm cooking dinner so they can move. We have a trampoline in our living room. I don't know what I'm thinking, but they're like nuts. But it gets their energy out and it's good for them. They're moving around. But, if they had like some kind of follow along where it's like a different athlete every week, like, hey, this is what we're doing today. I don't know. I think that would be really cool for older kids because they need more. They do.
They do. They need more like relatable, inspirational content for them too. we're on the right track. I think these are all good ideas. We're doing the best we can with what we have. Social media is our biggest platform. We make a bigger impact on Instagram than unfortunately we're able to do with our own students because we
Yeah.
don't see them that much. Whereas anytime, any day, we can log on social media and crank out
Yep.
some of this inspirational content. I want to talk more about just the topic of girls in phys ed in general.
Yep.
I know you mentioned that you kind of just chose that name because of who was reaching out to you,
Yeah.
but I do respect your opinion, and I think this is an important topic right now, especially in today's day and age. Just the whole idea of empowering girls
Mm-hmm.
in PE because it is a very male-dominated environment in the gym, and
Yeah.
I get comments from girls all the time who are like, I wish my PE class was like this. My PE teacher only cared about the athletes, the
Yep.
boys. They gave them special treatment and they didn't care about the rest of us. So like, what do you, I mean, in the past, and this is, anybody who's listening to this, who's not a PE teacher, maybe you didn't get this history lesson in your undergrad, like boys and girls were always separated
Mm-hmm.
in sports and in phys ed. And that led to a lot of inequities. I mean, it almost always inevitably led to the girls not getting the same opportunities as the boys. And that's it's considered best practice now to make sure they're integrated, make sure they're playing together. But there is still, issues with that. I don't know if it's like this in your gym, but at least in my gym, like I struggle to get the boys and girls to play together. I tell them at the beginning of the year, I'm like, you're going to play together. Like this is not competitive
Mm-hmm.
sports. Like this is co-ed. You're going to have to learn how to work together. I'm going to be here to help you.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is like pulling teeth to get them to just kind of welcome each other and work
Yep.
together. So like, what are your favorite ways to empower girls in phys ed, but also encourage boys to like
Yeah.
go play with the girls? Like, go ahead.
So I think that a huge thing that's beneficial for me is having a female PE teacher in the building. I mean, I know not everywhere can have that, but when I first started teaching, my first full-time teaching job was in a charter school in an inner city that's like 40 minutes from here. And when I went to just view the school, there was this kid, and he was in 4th grade at the time. And I was walking in, I was just meeting a few kids, a few people. He was standing in the hallway, and the principal introduced me. She's like, this is, my last name used to be Sharkey, which, that's a really good name, but
That's a dope name. Yeah.
it is. Yeah. I miss it. And she was like, this is, Coach Sharkey. She's going to be your new PE teacher. And he looked at me like, are you kidding me? And,
Ooh.
he gave me this look, and he was like, you can't be a PE teacher. You're a girl. Literally right to my
Oh.
face. And I was
Oh.
just like, I need something good right now. But what came out, I was just like, I'm going to be the best PE teacher you ever had. You'll see. And he
There you go.
he was like, like literally dissed me so hard. And then about a month into school, because that was at the end of their school year. So then it was summertime. And when we came back, it was about a month in, and he came over to me and he was like, Coach, you were right. And I forgot that even happened.
Oh.
He's like, you were right. You're the best PE teacher I ever had. And I was like, aw, thanks. And I was like, you're getting there,
Yeah.
But he, just the fact that he came to me to let me know that, I was like, okay, like he remembered that conversation, and I'm glad that he like rethought about it. But honestly, like having a female PE teacher in your building, and even if you don't have that, like show clips. Like we have a Promethean board, and we like to show a quick clip of like a game, or like, when kids have never played soccer before and you're trying to show a 5-year-old that it's a game, they see a ball, they're all chasing it, so we try to show them like, this is what a field looks like. See how they're all spread out. Not that they're going to do that, but just to give them an idea of what it looks
Right.
like.
No, that's super helpful. They need to see it.
So being able to show clips, like when Caitlin Clark, scored that 3 that from so far back, and everyone was saying like the distance it was, I can't remember exactly what it was. We put a piece of tape on our gym floor to show the students how far she was from the basket. And we were like, everyone try to make that shot. And obviously nobody made it, because it was literally almost our whole gym, because we don't have a full-size gym. And all the boys were like, she shot that far? And I'm like, yeah,
Nice.
like, So it's things like that you can point out, especially when it's like real-time sports or anything. With the women's basketball playing 3-on-3 now, there's so many new things happening that we're like, you know, we just try to point out all that type of stuff. But honestly, for me, like, I compete with my students. Like, we do a turkey trot every year, and I can't run that because we have to be like seeing who comes in first, second, third. But when we're practicing the route, I'll race them to the next spot before we say, this is where you're going to turn, you know. And then like my coworkers and I work well together. They see the mutual respect. You know, we show them so many things, and when the girls see me doing it, they're like, I could do that, you know. Not that I'm the greatest athlete on earth or anything, but it just shows them like, okay, if she can do that, I can do that. So
Yeah. Compared to elementary kids, you can probably dominate, you know.
yeah, I mean, I don't brag about it because that would be just like ridiculous, but if you can't beat elementary kids, that would be sad.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we
And
have
if you
some good
if you ever
athletes,
don't
but...
beat him, you just act like, you know, you did it on purpose.
Or you're like,
trying
you
to encourage
cheated,
them.
so that's why.
Yeah, or you cheated.
That's what
yeah,
happened.
Bust out. Yep. I mean, that's what they say all the time.
My
Yeah.
favorite before a race, I'll be like, what's that? And they turn around, and then I'll take off if I know it's a pretty fast kid, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
I
honestly
do think
just...
it is important for them to see the female examples, and that's something that I've always kind of done is when I'm selecting video clips, I try to show the girls whenever possible, just so they can see it.
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead.
But
I interrupted you.
When I started, before student teaching, when you're in college, where I was, you had to do like pre-observation, like the year before you were going to student teach. And it was just at the end of the school year, like for college when other school was still going on. And the school I went to still had separated boys and girls PE. And I was like,
really?
What is happening here? Like, I literally couldn't believe it. Because I, like, you know, that was in like 2012, 11. So
It's
I was
funny
just...
how some places fly under the radar with those old school practices.
Yep. And I was
in
just like, wow.
2017, I've been at my school for like 8 years now. 2017 I started, and boys and girls were not segregated, but the two PE teachers would like do it manually. Like they would take two classes and then it would say, okay, girls, you're going to go outside with this teacher, and boys, you're going to stay inside with this teacher. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like,
yeah.
Are you aware that you're not supposed to do that? Like, what's the purpose? But I don't know if you've ever gotten these comments. I hear from some people occasionally. Thankfully it's not that often, but they're like, well, we do that and it's beneficial because the girls feel more comfortable playing with other girls. What do you say to that? Because I always struggle, because on the one hand, of course I want them to feel comfortable.
Right.
And I know that boys, when you have a game, for example, if it's a soccer game and it's mostly boys, they get rough because boys are traditionally raised to be rough and aggressive. Girls are not always, it's not ladylike for them to exert themselves.
Yep.
I'll never forget my first experience coaching a girls team. It was volleyball, trying to get them to serve overhand and just trying to get them to push themselves, like really hammer on that ball, because I got the impression that none of them had ever done that before. I'm like, no, I want you to use your whole strength. You can do this.
Yeah.
You got to really, and so when boys are come together, that comes natural to them because of how they're raised. Girls, not always. So like, what do you say to people who are like, well, the girls need their own safe space? You know?
I'll be honest, I almost feel worse for the boys that aren't as competitive or as aggressive, because there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not their favorite setting. So like, I feel like it doesn't matter who it is. You just need to find how to make them comfortable enough to try. And once they're comfortable enough to try, they're more willing to be like, oh, I did it. So then the next day you're like, hey, last class I saw you do this. Like today, let me see this, or do it again. You know, I always try to start the year with like team building things and, you know, things that are comfortable for everybody. Because if you like, soccer is a fall sport. We want to get into that while it's still nice out in upstate New York. But we don't jump right into that, even if it makes us miss some days outside, because I'm like, not everybody loves soccer. Not everybody knows all the people in their class yet. But I also try to, on those team building days, like group specific people together on purpose to make sure they're comfortable in my class, and comfortable enough to do anything. And that's literally all we talk about at the beginning of class and the end of class is like, you know, we're all here to have fun. Nobody in here is going to go pro in PE class, you know. but another thing too, like as a phys ed teacher and someone who's competitive myself, you can always tell students or even adults to like let off a little bit if they have that aggressiveness. You can't really teach the people to put that on if they don't have it. So you just have to help. You can always take it off, but you can't put it on. So, you know, we encourage competition and things like that, but we also make sure people are aware of who they're around. And we vocalize everything. So if a student's like, I don't like playing with so-and-so, I'm like, well, why? You know, but they're comfortable enough with me at that point, from having them for years, that they'll tell me why. And then we work through it together, you know, or if I see someone's not comfortable, I'm going to jump on their team and I'm going to be like, come on, let's run through this together. And I'll run down, and then they're laughing because I try to make it funny, you know, so it's not always about competition. But you do always see like a kid will miss a pass or they'll, you know, kick it in the wrong goal. And you just see them like, oh, that's exactly what I didn't want to do. And now my team's going to be mad at me. But we just talk through it, you know. And that's where you need to get those class leaders as well to be like, so-and-so looks really upset that happened. Can you go talk to them? And that's a kid I know I can trust, that's respected, and people know they're a good athlete. And when that kid goes over to another kid that doesn't feel like they're that important in PE, and they're like, it's all right. Like, come on, we got it this time. Like, that's all I could ever hope for, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
There's
it's about
so many
cooperation,
situations.
team building, like teaching them, you know, the difference, teaching them to kind of like work with another player. Like everybody has this different level of aggression and competition, but it's about, you know, meeting people in the middle. I had one of my first 2 years actually at middle school in Chicago. Our middle schoolers were segregated by gender, like for every class, and it was a weird decision. The principal thought it would make discipline easier. It didn't. It was horrible. But I had a class of all 7th grade boys, which was just
that was probably fun to teach.
Off the chart. Well, I had another class of all 7th grade girls. They ended up being one of my best classes. They were like, so in the beginning of the year, it was tough to win them over, but like my thing is like if I can make them laugh, I've got them in the palm of my hand. So I would just make them laugh, and suddenly I was their favorite teacher, and they were one of my best classes. But those boys, I'll never forget. One day we're playing floor hockey. And floor hockey is one of my favorite things to teach. And I would set the gym up with I would put boards in the corner so that like the puck would bounce, it wouldn't get stuck and everything. It was a whole thing. I was a huge Blackhawks fan at the time. And this one boy just walked out in the middle of the game. He just disappeared, left. And I found out later he went back to his teacher, who he felt comfortable with. His safe space was not the gym. It was the classroom. And he just walked in and was like, can I sit in here? I don't like hockey. And I felt so bad for him. And that was a blind spot for me. I mean, you mentioned boys who aren't always aggressive. That is a blind spot for a lot of us phys ed teachers. I think especially the males, like not every boy fits that stereotype of like wanting to dominate. And that's why like I try to teach my students the difference between playing competitively and playing recreationally.
Yeah.
Like if you're competitive, you're going to go play on this side of the field. That means you want to win. You're going to play really hard. If you want to play recreational, that means you just want to have fun and you want to exercise. And when I do that, a lot of times, the recreational side will have like more girls than boys and vice versa. But if I can get at least, 2 or 3 girls to like push themselves and go play competitive and 2 or 3 boys to like admit that they just want to have fun, then I consider that a win. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. So like sometimes we'll have, we do all the skills and stuff together, but like say we're doing soccer and then we move on to sideline soccer, we'll have 2 games going on and one's more competitive and one's less competitive, but and we let them choose where they want to go. But like if we see a student totally dominating the less competitive, we're like, all right, you should try coming over here.
You push them.
Yeah.
You encourage
And
them,
then sometimes we'll be like, hey, can you come over here? Because you're good at ball handling. You can help this team over here. Because sometimes they don't even know. I mean, it's pre-K through 5th grade. They're like, what's competitive? Right. And I'm like, we just went over this. But but I have one quick story. So there was a girl in our school and she never wanted to play. And it wasn't just a PE issue. I think it was just like, other stuff going on. And I'm like, I'm going to get through to this girl. Like, I got to make her feel comfortable. I have to do it. I tried talking to her, like I'd see her in the cafeteria. I'd just like drop in on purpose and be like, oh, what are you eating for lunch today? You know, trying anything I could to connect with her. But her and her one friend would just stand in PE and they didn't want to do anything. And I'm like, you can't really do that, you know, and you try different things with different kids because everyone's different. Right. And so one day we have like an incentive system. And if they win, they get to choose the activity of the day when they fill their bucket. So they chose mat ball. And I'm like, oh, she is not going to like that because you're kind of like center of attention for a minute. And so that day was like my opportunity. And I was like, listen, I know you don't want to kick it. I could see her like just standing to the side, not even in the line. And I was like, I'm going to give you a hint here. If you get close to the front of the line and you're not comfortable enough to kick, you can just slowly back up and drop to the back of the line and no one will know. So she like, her eyes like lit up and she was like, did she just tell me that? You know?
Yeah.
And not that I didn't want to teach her to do that at all. Like, that's not the point, but nothing else would work. And I'm like, I can connect with her through giving her a hint like that. So now she trusted me. And then she did that for the first inning. And then she wasn't doing it in the second inning. And I was like, remember? And she was like, oh yeah. So she did it again. So then in the third inning, I was like, she was out in the field at this point. And, you know, she usually stood towards the back, like safety. You don't want to be up front if you're going to get nailed in the face or something like that by accident. So I was like, all right, if the ball comes back here, like, you got to get it and give it to me as fast as you can. So she was like, all right, because that's not as like intimidating. And she did. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, why do you think you can't play this? Like, you just did a great job. And the next time she went up, she did actually go up to kick. And I was like, I'll be right next to you. I'll tell you exactly when to kick it. And she did it. And I was like, okay, so that worked. But sometimes you have to give a little as a teacher too. Like, kids are going to have bad days. No matter what, they're not going to be comfortable. But if you could just find like one way to connect with them or make them see that works, you know, or even teaching them, like, when I make a mistake, I literally laugh at myself. Like, I can't not, because that's just who I am. But kids that's not like a learned thing for some people. So just being able to laugh at yourself and have fun. Like my coworker, Eric, is hysterical. You probably maybe have seen him in my videos, but like, he's so funny, and like, kids just, they feed off of that, and then they're silly. So I don't know. I feel like PE should be a silly place, you know. Yeah, definitely. The silliest place in the school.
And those little side conversations, the motivation, it seems like extra work, but like that's the work. You know
it is. It really is.
That's the most rewarding and the most important part of what we do, like the lesson planning and assessment and stuff. That's the extra work to me. Yep. Like, that's the part that sucks. It is. Those little connections that you're able to make, the stories that you're able to tell later, the motivation that you can bring and the inspiration for these kids. I mean, that's the most, if you're not doing that, you're probably getting burnt out. Like those are the teachers who quit. Like, you have to find ways to do that. Yeah. Because then you can live vicariously through your students and the joy that they're experiencing in your class.
Yep.
I want to respect your time. I'm sure you got dinner coming up, but I want to get nerdy real quick.
Yep.
Okay. You mentioned earlier you got something that you're very nerdy for, and I want you for the Nerd Alert segment. A lot of people just kind of talk about what they're nerdy for. I would love it if you just rant. Like, feel free to get heated. Like, what's something you're really passionate about that has nothing to do with teaching? Go ahead. What are you a huge nerd for?
Okay, if I was not a teacher, I would definitely want to be like an interior designer or like have an organizing business. Ooh. Like, I love organizing everything, like drawers. The amount of bins I have is just out of control.
Oh my God.
Like,
that is my wife. 100%.
Every time
she is a designer. She designs closets and she loves it.
She does that for real or just at your house?
Yeah. No, she goes into people's homes, a lot of rich people.
Stop!
People spend, and you know, you could probably do this on the side, honestly. There's these closet companies. I'll let you talk. I'm sorry. I want to tell you, since you're curious.
I love it.
Rich people will spend tens of thousands of dollars on custom closets.
Yep.
This is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll go and she goes into their homes. It's not all rich people, but
Right.
it's mostly rich people.
Yeah.
She'll measure and then she'll design this amazing, like, just drawers, cabinets, lights,
Oh my
beautiful stuff.
goodness.
And they'll pay, like, some of these people pay like more than what I would pay for a car.
Uh-huh.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, and she gets commissioned for it and stuff. So yeah, it's a
That's
great
awesome.
gig, honestly.
Yeah,
Very
so that's
talented.
what I love. I love doing that. Like, even our equipment closet, like, my coworker's like, did you just reorganize the closet again? And I'm like, yes, I did.
You
But-
would hate working with me.
No, I would love it because then I could
I
just
am a
do it.
type B. Well, you would
Yeah.
get sick of it, honestly. My co-teacher is very organized, bless her heart.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm the type of teacher who, like, when I finish a unit, it takes me a good 4 months to put all that stuff away. And, like, sometimes I feel terrible because she will end up doing it for me. And I was like, I was going to put that cricket stuff away. I swear to God.
5
And
years
she's
ago.
like, you finished cricket 8 months ago. What are you talking
Oh
about?
my gosh. Yeah, that's me. Like, every time I shop, I'll come home. My husband's like, what do you need another bin for? You have, like, a bin? I'm like, they're all being used. I buy them for specific things. Like, I have 5 things in my brain right now that I'm like, I need to organize this, this, and this. I
The
can't help
bins.
it.
Okay. Is your husband organized or
He is.
no?
I have to say,
Okay.
he had his house, like, before I met him for like 6 years, and he was the most organized man probably ever. Like, literally, like,
Okay.
his shaving, he's bald, so, like, his shaving tools are, like, perfectly lined up. Like, he just, you know, he can't go like a day without shaving his head. He can't have stubble. He's very clean and organized too, so it's nice.
He's a better husband than I am. My wife would tell you. She's made some progress with me. I think I'm more organized than I used to be.
Yes.
But
He does
yeah,
his
it's
own
kind of-
laundry. You know, I'm lucky. He just made me a
Yeah, see,
steak
I
right
don't
before.
do that.
He just cooked me
I
a
do- I
steak
cook,
before
I
my
don't do laundry.
podcast. Hi.
Oh,
You wanna say
hi.
hi?
We got a
Yeah,
cameo
come here.
appearance.
This is Kateri. She's my oldest.
Hi, Kateri.
This
I love
is
your
Tom.
name
He's funny.
and I love your shirt. What does it say?
Artist. Ask her what her
Artist.
favorite subject in school is.
Uh-oh. What's your favorite subject in school?
What is it? What is it? She tells me it's art, and I'm her PE teacher. So
Art. Oh, I was gonna guess. I was
And
gonna
this is
guess art because of
Avery.
the shirt. But hi, Avery.
say hi. Hi.
Hi. Are you hungry? Are they coming to get you because they're hungry?
Maybe they could be. They were just
'Cause my
outside.
kids are probably hungry. It's dinner time. All right, Coach. I do want to respect your time. I really appreciate you coming on here, and I want you to plug your stuff because I know you do some. I think you do some Teachers Pay Teachers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead. Tell the people where
Yeah.
they can find
So
your
I
great
have
stuff because you're
Phys
very
Ed Girl.
organized. Go
Phys
ahead.
Ed Girls on TPT. You can just search that and then follow Phys Ed Girls on Instagram and TikTok.
Ready,
Is that girls Instagram,
Ready.
TikTok, and then again that Teachers
Ready.
Pay Teacher story. If you are
Start.
a teacher who is not so organized, I'm sure there's lots of great stuff on there to help you get
start.
Coach Cait Davis, thank you so much.
Your test is over.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Remember to run in a straight line. And run as long as possible. Your test is over. The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound.